But
sometimes you got to make the
so,
ADHD work for you. You know?
ADHD is a superpower, bro.
Oh yeah,
Like, make no mistake about it.
yeah.
Like I talk to people about that all the time, and it's weird because like people associate ADHD with the food dyes and everything like that, and stuff we're going to be talking about here in a second, right? But the actual issue with ADHD is that it's actually a phenotype, right? True ADHD is not sugar driven, it's not stimulant driven or anything like that. It's just that you view things differently. Like I always describe it like this: like I have 5 permeating thoughts at all times, like 5 to 10 permeating thoughts. Like I'm talking to you guys, what Chris is wearing, my dog's behind me, like the 5 thoughts, right? Each of those 5 to 10 thoughts have 5 to 10 thoughts, and then each of those 5 to 10 thoughts have 5 to 10 thoughts, and then each of those 5 to 10 thoughts have 5 to 10 thoughts at all fucking time. So like I'm like literally thinking about like the tree of liberty and like fucking the Bible and shit like that while we're talking about fitness. Like it's crazy, right? But it allows me to do shit like I wrote an ebook in like fucking 2 weeks. Like a 250-page ebook in 2 weeks.
Damn.
For our sales. I write at least 2 articles a day on shit. Plus I do the coaching. Plus we have a couple other side businesses that we don't even want people to know that we're associated with, so people won't fucking try to cancel us. Shit like that. Like
smart guy.
Oh, dude, so you got to keep some of that shit in tight, man. Like in fucking real time. Like I learned my lesson when the fucking fat people came for me in 2019. No shit.
Dang, what they come at you for?
Hang on, I'll fucking. Let's take a look at this. Give me 1 second.
What didn't they come after him for?
You're right. Yeah. I thought he was. I thought he was going to say 2020.
No, well, 2020 was bad. 2020, I got like fucking like, and this is no shit, like thousands of death threats.
Yeah, you told me about that.
Jeez. And I thought the 30-day ban was bad.
It's because I was right about COVID, which, by the way, everybody, buy my book. It was never about your health, the COVID pandemic. I was right. The dark side of fat.
TLDR, he was right.
Here, check this shit the fuck out, right? Okay, so this, for those of you that don't know, and I encourage you, I'd make no money by showing you this, which is weird because it's about me. But the dark side of fat acceptance is basically how
Scooby?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's on YouTube, Tubi. It's sold on Amazon. This is just where you can watch it for free. But this is basically a guy
or whatever, or said
a guy. Oh boy, that was chunky. Look at that fat ass. Fat fuck.
It's all about your emotional intelligence, though.
Yeah,
it's about my emotional intelligence. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Fucking weak ass shoulders too, motherfucker. What the fuck? God damn. Fucking. Anyway, but there was a movie called Fatopia, right? And it was it came out, and the guy reached out to me. He was like, "Hey, I wanted to know if you want to support my project." I was like, "Send me an advance view. You don't need to pay me. If it's something I can get behind, I'll get behind, because we need to stop this fat acceptance movement." That was in 2018, I believe, where I was like, "We got to stop this fat acceptance movement because it's going to be fucking bad. Look at where we're at." But so they tried to come at me, all the fat people. They tried to come at me, calling me a racist because I call people fat. Like, because again, if you call people
totally
fat,
related,
you're racist.
Totally
related.
Yeah.
Whenever people say that, I always get like so seriously offended for black people, because like it really paints that black people are fat, like, and they can't help it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like especially fat black women. Like, it basically states like, oh yeah, fat acceptance it was born in racism because fat black women or black women, like, you're calling all black women fat. Like, you fucking racist.
Did you see that shit? Did you see the statue in Times Square?
Yes. Yes, I did.
There may be one in Italy too, by the way. I don't know if that's true or not. I've yet to confirm that one.
Yeah, I got to confirm that. I don't.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
So,
anyway,
at least it's not a crackhead, because we do have statues of crackheads in America too. So.
I guess. We used to do Michelangelo. We used to do like Mona Lisa. We used to have like actual art. Like, come on, like, give me a break.
Now it's fat people and crackheads who we're making statues to in America here, people.
Yeah.
people and crackheads. Welcome to the 2020s. But back to the fat acceptance thing. So they tried to come at me, and I mean, everybody kind of knows me. I don't give a fuck about that. Like, I enjoyed the engagement, right? So they couldn't get at me. So they tried to go at my wife. My wife just was like, "Fuck you guys," and just put her shit on private, right? And then they started going after anybody that liked my shit, like anybody that clicked like on my videos, or anybody that clicked like on my Instagram posts. They were calling people's work. They were trying to get these people fired and shit like that. I shit you not. Watch. If you're out there, go on Tubi. It's free. And look up The Dark Side of Fat Acceptance and watch it. No shit. Because they started going after these people just because they were associated with me. It was wild.
That's crazy.
Like wild.
People
wild.
have better things to do. Like seriously, like what? Anyway,
They got nothing to do.
nothing to do.
Well, what's the thing that I find like interesting, right? Is that back then it was easy to tell, like, hey, like how it's morphed, right?
Mhm.
Remember when Tess Holiday was the first on the cover of Cosmo? When she was only 300 pounds now. Then she's gained like 150 fucking pounds now. She's
Still?
a whole ass. Oh, she's a whole ass fucking house, bro.
Oh,
I mean,
jeez.
like shit, like a whole house. That woman is like she's a square. Like her shoulders go out, walk like she's a fucking cube, fucking crazy. And yes, I am saying that that's fucking ugly and bad. Okay, like that you can't be 400 pounds and think you're attractive. I'm sorry, it doesn't fucking happen.
Well, they say they're not everyone's preference, you know. So
Preference.
The
Oh.
only people who has the preference of a 450-pound people are people that know very well how to work forklifts. That's it. That's all. That's the only. And they own their own personal one. That's the only people. Because eventually, what if they fall down? Like I always think about that. Like, you know, what if they fall down? Who the fuck's getting them up? You know?
it's over.
It's catastrophic. Yeah, it's catastrophic. Yeah.
You know what they say, if you don't like big women, you prefer skinny or fit women, they call you a pedo now. That's the new thing. Have you seen that too?
What?
Oh man, I gotta show you.
No.
I gotta send you a lot of shit. I gotta send you a lot of
dude.
shit. I gotta send you a lot.
I'll start a group chat between the three of us. Send it, and then we'll reconvene and talk about that.
I got
shit.
Oh my god.
I got you. Yeah,
Oh my god, that's fucking crazy.
insane.
So if you like in shape people, you're a pedo.
Mm-hmm. That's
Okay.
what they're saying now. Yep.
These
You know what it is. Sorry,
No,
I've
go
been
ahead.
reading. There's a book that y'all should read, and it's like drastically. It's like it was telling the future because it was written way back, I think, in the 70s. I think 1984. This is the thought police in line right now. Like this is they're changing the language or changing definitions. Like
I've read it. Yeah, absolutely.
oh yeah, I recommend y'all read that book. Like that's
What is
it's
it? The thought police?
the thought police. Yeah.
1984. If you
1984.
read 1984, it's going to creep you out after the last 5 years. I'm just letting you know.
Okay.
If you've never read it,
Yes.
and you read it now, it's going to creep you the
It's
fuck out.
like to the letter that they did. The exact things that they've done in the last 5 years is to the letter, like what they've done in Ministry of Truth and all that. Like
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I don't want
I
to give it
mean,
away. I don't want to give it away. It's
Yeah,
it's
don't
yeah,
give it away,
it's,
but
it's a good book.
It'll freak you out. It really, really will.
Yeah,
You know,
it's a short
the
read.
changing
Yeah.
of the changing of the language, it's gone from my health is none of your business, which is a fucking lie because we have shared societal healthcare burden, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit. Like as long as we have shared societal healthcare burden, as long as insurance rates go up because you can't stop face fucking yourself with pie, then it's everybody's business. But beyond that, it went from you can't you don't know if I'm healthy or not. My health is none of your business. To I'm 400 pounds and I'm fit and healthy. I'm fine the way I am. You know, like we literally, and Chris and I were just talking about this on the previous one. Where we live in a state right now, in like a world right now, dimension, whatever. I don't know what the fuck wormhole we went through, but where people do not live in reality at all about health or fitness or any of this shit. They just don't live in reality. You're not if you're morbidly obese, you are not ever healthy. It is not possible to be morbidly obese and be healthy if for nothing else than gravity and your heart. Like literally. I talk about this all the time, and this is something that I'm glad that they're actually, one of the reasons why our healthcare industry needs to get better. The ejection fraction of your heart is normally anywhere between 50 and 70. If it's down into 35, it's normally considered you're in chronic heart failure, like you're in congestive heart failure, right? So the ejection fraction of your heart is how much blood pushes out of your left ventricle into the rest of your body, right?
Yep.
And normally for fat people, their ejection fraction is below 50 because the foods they eat cause very serious inflammation. Systemic inflammation causes thickening of the walls, but also it causes the issue where the heart does not beat properly, right? This is why most of them sound like they're breathing soup also, is the inflammation, right? So your ejection fraction is lower, but also you have like twice the body to push blood to keep you fucking alive. So now an inefficient heart is pushing out blood at a lesser volume than what it could have before if you weren't abusing yourself, and it is causing your heart to have to beat faster and harder constantly, even at rest, and that will eventually wear out. Just for that reason alone, you shouldn't consider yourself healthy. Not to mention that for every 11 pounds, every 5 kilos of extra weight you have on, there is something like an increased risk of 22% for a full knee replacement. That's just the statistics, right? It's something like 4 to 10 pounds of extra pressure per square inch per pound on your knees on a flat surface when you walk. So if you're 200 pounds overweight, that could be anywhere from 800 pounds per square inch to 2,000, a ton of extra pressure on your knees every time you walk on a flat surface. Downhill is even worse, right? So it's like, we've got to stop talking to people as if it's not a problem. I think that's a huge thing. You know, Alan and I talked this the last time we were on, and I'm going to open up to you guys here in a second, so you guys can, because I'm about to ask a question. I know I'm long-winded, but again, I'm crazy in ADHD. But we have to get to the stage where we are, as a culture, like changing our culture to make it unacceptable. Like right now, our culture is it's unacceptable to tell a dude that has a beard that thinks he's a woman that he's a dude. Like apparently it's unacceptable for that. Like even though reality exists, but at the same time, it is very acceptable to lie directly to fat people's faces and tell them that they're going to be okay. And we are not going to be able to legislate out of this. Like I'm a big fan of RFK. I think he's doing all right. I think there's many things that he has missed the ball on already, but many things that he's done a really good job with. Also, and I'm sure it's a very hard job, and I'm sure that he is facing obstructionism. There's nothing. I'm sure there's so much obstructionism that we can't even rectify. What do you gentlemen think we can do to change the culture of America to once again look for fitness and health beyond the healthcare industry, beyond legislation and the government? What can we do as people, as we the people, what can we do to help make America healthy again?
Let me start with the ejection fraction thing. So real quick, even if you have a normal ejection fraction, don't forget that you only have so much blood volume in your blood. There's other measures to be taken into account too. But even let's just say your heart is healthy and you're 400 pounds. You're still shunting a lot more blood to excess tissue that you don't need. So it decreases the amount of blood to actual vital organs. So even if you have a normal ejection fraction and the fact that you're 400 plus pounds, and this is where it gets confusing, where it's like, oh, I'm fat, but I'm healthy. Well, okay. It's one number. There's plenty of other numbers to take into account, and it's still like your heart's working still that hard at baseline, and eventually you'll get to the point where everything's going to start failing. So you maybe have a great ejection fraction now, but just wait. The longer that you're in this state, the worse it's going to get. That's where a lot of people get confused. Now, in terms of your second question, I have a great quote here that I've said on other shows that kind of puts it all together. So here it goes. When cultural values are sufficient, laws are unnecessary. When cultural values are insufficient, laws are unenforceable. So
wow.
That was from a book called Speed of Trust, which I recommend you all read too. I've been on a reading kick lately, so that's where my ADHD is going. But yeah, that's why I say fix the culture. And how can we do that as people? Is be the model, spread the education as much as you possibly can. Tell as many people that want to be helped. And let's just be real. Also, not everybody wants to be helped. Like with all the victimhood and all the people that are just like thinking like, oh, we're racist and stuff like that. To me, like that's just like, okay, I guess you don't want to be helped. I mean, we could try, we could do all these things that we're doing right now, but at least like be the role model and set the expectations for your loved ones, and and start there. And then once people continue to do that, multiply, we're gonna have to do it from the ground up. There's no law that's gonna really legislate us out of this, really. I mean, there are a couple things I could think of, but like ultimately, though, there's going to be loopholes. There's going to be people that want to make money that are going to try to find a way to get through it. And it all starts with us as individuals, and then we have to, start spreading from there. That's the best place to start, is ourselves.
I would say start in schools. If we taught nutrition in schools and we taught the preventable diseases in schools, that would be a great start. But I think it would be shut down by parents and teachers because the adults are so brainwashed. And big back and big belly is big business. We're talking billions of dollars.
Trillions.
So trillions of dollars, yeah. So if we try to if we change things in another direction, people you're putting businesses out of business. A lot of restaurants, like I just mentioned to Alan on the last stream, every time you see a new shopping center being built, it's filled with fast food, filled with unhealthy food options. So, but I think that would be the only solutions in schools, but we know that would never happen.
So I have I obviously believe that, if you really care for people, if you're out there right now, my suggestion to you, if you know fat people in your life, give them a call and tell them to lose fucking weight right now. I mean, like for real. If you love somebody that's morbidly obese, call them right now. Well, wait till you're done watching us. Don't be rude. And then call that fat fuck and tell them to lose weight. But I do have one thing that we could legislate that I think would help almost solve the chronic illness epidemic. Right? You guys ready to hear this? This is going to get canceled again. But anybody with a waist to height ratio above 0.6 has to pay for all of their health care out of their own pocket.
Interesting.
It's
so there'll be an incentive,
It's morbidly obese. It is a visceral fat deposit, meaning it is the worst kind of obesity. And people right now can afford to be sick. Like, we're the only country in the world where people can absolutely afford to be sick and not try to be healthy. People do not feel the brunt of their own personal responsibility, because if you paid, like, if it reached a stage where, oh, hey, I fattened myself to the point where I lost my insurance because, now I'm sick, people would be desperate to stay under that. People would all of a sudden be like, all these people like, no matter what I do or how little I eat, I can't lose weight. They'd figure it the fuck out because they wouldn't be able to afford not to, And I understand that this might be bad for some people, but if you have a waist height ratio of 0.6, that shit did not creep up on you overnight, right?
No way.
That shit did not all of a sudden poof happen. You have a long period of fucking time to get your motherfucking shit together or pay the consequences. And right now, there's just no consequences for it. So we, as the people of the United States, subsidize people that have no responsibility for their own health. I still don't understand how we ever got to the point where people that give a fuck about their health have to subsidize people that don't give a fuck about their health. Like, I think it's so off-putting to me that, like, if you're fit and healthy, your insurance premiums are still higher because there's other people that don't give a fuck about their health, right? I shouldn't have to pay for your health if you don't give a fuck. If you don't give a fuck, I shouldn't have to give a fuck neither. I shouldn't have to give a goddamn dollar, right?
Yeah.
And it just goes also forward. One, it's incentive, but two, realistically, people will, in fact, not be able to afford to be fat. And that's what we need to make it. They can't afford to be fat. Because when you are fat, you are going to develop a chronic illness, and it is going to be motherfucking expensive. And I also don't, same thing I'm saying. I don't believe that fucking any weight loss drug should absolutely not be paid for by insurance. Like, just 100%. And if they can't make it cheap enough for people to buy it, then they can't fucking have it. It's not like those drugs are very fucking effective to begin with, because they're not. I think the the latest data out on Wegovy and Ozempic is that after 4 years of being on it, $60,000+ billed to insurance, you're lucky if you keep 10% of the 10% weight loss. So if you're
That's
a 300-pound
crazy.
person, you go on Ozempic, 4 years later you've lost 30 pounds, spent $60,000. That's like $2,000 a fucking pound. You know.
The gym is well. The gym can be free.
Could
Can
be.
be free.
Yeah.
My gym's one of my gyms is free. I fucking work out in the fucking
Garage.
woods and shit like that, man. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a garage. I live way out.
Or parks. You know that's what I was saying. Yeah.
Go for a goddamn motherfucking walk. How about this?
Yeah.
How about don't eat pizza every day?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Shit like that. You know. So that's my
Yeah.
thought process on that. Like, you know, if we made it so it wasn't so easy to be sickly in America, people wouldn't be as sickly in America. There's also this other thing, and I keep seeing. I want to talk to both of you guys about this. And I mean, I asked Chris, and Alan, do you know who Mark Bell is?
Mark. Yes,
Yeah.
I think I do. Yeah. Didn't he?
He's a very
No,
famous.
maybe thinking about
powerlifter.
somebody other than Mark. Okay. I may be thinking of
He's a
Mark
very famous
Ripito. But anyway.
powerlifter. He oh no, I don't discuss Ripito.
Okay. Got it.
But Mark's a good guy. I think he tries a lot of new stuff, but him and a bunch of other people right now are on this sugar diet. Like they're ingesting table sugar in large quantities. Like he said, he was
I still don't believe you. I still don't believe you, man. I still don't believe you. I still don't believe you.
Mark Bell on his one video, and I did. You can go on my video. I did a review of it, but he's talking that he's eating 800 fucking grams of carbohydrates in a day. 800 grams, and he's like, and I'm losing weight because your body's in shock, bro. Like I'm telling.
Oh my God.
Here's my thing.
Why?
It throws all of science out the window, right? So there's a huge amount of study that's going towards Alzheimer's now because the original 21st fucking years of Alzheimer's research was faked. I don't know if you guys know that either, but
Doesn't shock me.
the plaque forming in the brain like angle, that's not. It was like the initial data that everything was based on was faulty on purpose. So. But they're starting to look at it as a metabolic issue. Like dementia has a lot of metabolic issues because it's basically diabetes of the brain is what people are thinking it is, right? And there is a direct correlation between hyperinsulinemia, which is your body in a constant high insulin state, and dementia and cognitive function and things like heart disease. Like the more you pump insulin into your body, the higher your insulin levels normally, the harder it is on your system, right? And it always makes me happy when I have a doctor on and they nod yes when I talk technical shit. It makes me happy. Fucking You're stroking my ego. You don't even know. But the thing is that I'm finding wild about this is these people have large followings and they're telling people in a broad spectrum way to try the sugar diet. And as a newsflash, like these are all fit people that are doing this, right? Like fitness people that are doing this. So basically what they're doing is they're trying to basically trick their system into producing more insulin, like flood their system with insulin. You guys remember the Velocity or something diet? It's like they would have you drink cranberry juice at certain times a day to spike your insulin right before you work out, stuff like that, right? I forget the actual name, but the premise is that like you're a bodybuilder, you're trying to have more insulin, gain more weight, blah blah blah, right? The problem is America's fat as fuck. Like the problem is go to any goddamn Walmart and tell me if you should be telling those people to eat more sugar. You know? Like
it's kind of like
go wrong.
Go ahead, doctor.
I know. It can just go. I can feel like this can go wrong very easily. Like this is a very nuanced thing. But anyway, that's all.
I was gonna say maybe this reminds me of people trying to eat Rice Krispie treats before the gym for pre-workout kind of stuff like that. Yeah, so this is crazy.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Like people eat candy bars right before a lift just to get that extra little pump, but that's about it.
I tell my client, like, I don't eat before I work out at all. I don't eat before or right after I work out. Like I had so many gym bros come and be like, "Oh my god, you're gonna ruin all your gains because you missed your anabolic window." Like, shut the fuck up, god damn, stupid motherfuckers. There's no such thing as an anabolic window, you dumb fucks. It's so mind numbing. It's so hard to deal with sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of people, and it's weird because Mark Bell, who's very respected in our industry, I still respect you, Mark. By the way, I still do. Like, you've done a lot of other good. I think you just may be having like a fucking senior moment right now. But like he's like shouting out like Durian Ryder. I don't know if you guys remember who he is. He's one of the YouTube original crazy vegans. Like, he is a fucking insane vegan, like insane. He's like saying like, yeah, he's on the sugar diet. Like, dude's a full on fucking psycho. And he's talking about Cole Robson, the snake diet guy. You know, like that guy this guy also, the snake diet guy, also is a big proponent of dry fasting, like for like days at a time, like no food, no fluid, and that's just dangerous as fuck, people. Like,
Yeah, it's dangerous too.
Like, dry fasting is dangerous as fuck. Like, it should be not suggested to any goddamn body, anybody. Amazing that they did. Now, fitness wise, it's one thing. What are you guys? Have you guys noticed anything that's happening with our healthcare like leadership? Like Casey Means, like me and Alan, me and you were talking about that. What are your guys' take? What's your take on that?
A lot of shit being flung by a lot of monkeys. It's like a big it's like a high school drama. Like, it's hard to keep track, and it's getting to the point where it's getting a little ridiculous. I mean, so long story short, there's been a lot of controversy on the interwebs with Casey Means, and she didn't finish residency. She left her last year residency. So why did she do that? To me, like, if you're almost done, just finish, because it'll at least open some doors for you. But she never finished. And then the major knock on her and her brother Callie Means is that they haven't been vocal about the jabs, the COVID jabs, especially in kids. It's still on the schedule, the vaccine schedule for kids, and Dr. Bowden was one of the big people that are saying that we're against Casey Means' appointment to Surgeon General. That was the biggest issue on the table, was that are they really going to get rid of the COVID jabs on the vaccine schedule? There's that. I mean, there's another debate as to whether Surgeon General means anything anymore, and there's other spots on the food chain that are more important that we're not talking about. So is this just like kind of a red herring or something that we're just being distracted with? Yeah, I mean, right now, here's the if you want to kind of get my take on it is, no one's coming to save you. That's really what it is. Do what you got to do to get your, if you really don't think that your kids should get the jabs, like, don't do it. Right. We've seen folks who took it and regretted it. So if you yourself regretted getting the jabs, then why would you want your kids to get them? So do your research and fight against it if you really don't disagree with it. Like, and okay, so maybe some of your kids may not go to some sports or get into some schools. There's plenty of places that will accept your kids, or you can become Amish. It's there's a way. There where there's a will, there's a way. There's other alternatives, and these things. There's plenty of data saying like they could be harmful in the long run, and it's all about your health and your kids, and you're the only ones that really have autonomy over your bodies, really, or should. Don't let the government have autonomy of your bodies. That's basically all we're saying. Do your research and know what's going in your body at all times.
I would completely agree with that. here's my take. All the people that are very, very, very upset about Casey and Callie Means. Here's how I view it. Like, I'm not a doctor. I bet you I'd do a fucking killer job at Surgeon General. And I know that sounds awfully cocky, but one, I'm extremely well read. Extremely, extremely well read.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Two, the basis of the medical profession is informed consent. So anybody that would be coming to me about anything should be able to explain it to me in terms that I understand anyway. And if you can't, you shouldn't be a doctor. Because if I can't understand it being a highly intelligent person, then your patients who are not nearly as schooled as I am on it will definitely not understand you. So you're not giving them informed consent, and you're basically committing medical malpractice at any given fucking time. We should not
actually. But let me say something about informed consent. Actually, we do it wrong. We do it like almost when, especially for elective procedures, we do it like right before the procedure happens. So like it's already too late. I mean, you can technically walk away and go home, but you've already gotten through your insurance. You already are there. You probably already had all the pre-things done, all the tests already done. And then you've signed the form right before you walk into the procedure. It should be done like way before that. And yes, a lot of us do a kind of a pretty poor job with it. And then another thing is also, with informed consent is that we don't do it for certain things, but we should do it for. Like, so we don't do it for. We should theoretically do it for pretty much anything that's being ingested in our bodies, but we don't. We don't do it for everything.
No.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, the informed consent thing is something I talk about a lot because, basically they tried to, we didn't really have informed consent for the last couple of years, especially with COVID and shit like that, right? But that's how I view it. And I find it weird that a lot of the conservative people, and I like a lot of them. Laura Loomer is one of them. Laura Loomer is very upset about Casey Means, and I like Laura a lot. I've interviewed her on Jewcast. So I think she's a very intelligent person. She should actually be doing all the vetting for Trump. I agree with that shit. But the arguments are, she didn't get her license. She did like they're basically trying to say she's not qualified, right? Well, I just want to like point out that we shouldn't view the medical industry as qualified to take care of health. I mean,
can I just add this real quick? There was a video. I'll send this to you too, where they got like 8 nurses. They're holding up signs of how much money they paid this month for DoorDash, and they're pretty much like all out of shape, all obese, right? So I wouldn't trust the medical people in the medical field either, not just blindly.
Not you, Alan. We trust you, by the way.
Yeah, we trust you. Yeah, we trust you.
I have. Yeah, that's why I have to be careful with what I say too. Yeah.
Oh yeah. You don't need to. You don't even need to say anything after I say that. Like,
yeah.
I just got to point out, like, if the medical profession was actually taking care of people's health, look at since the inception of the CDC, we've seen a like 300% rise in obesity. You know what I mean? Like the CDC, when we first started the CDC. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention. First of all, I'd love for anybody to tell me any disease they've controlled or prevented.
What year did that start? Did the CDC start?
I think it was 1962.
Okay.
Yeah, it was other before my time. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but since the inception of the CDC, the NIH, CMS even, and CMS is basically the for taxpayer-funded healthcare, right? We've just gotten sicker, fatter, more dependent upon pharma.
It's almost as if like more government doesn't really help. Huh.
It's almost as if the government's facilitating it.
Yeah, or that too. Yeah, it's like, interesting. Anyway,
so somehow or another, the government facilitates the fact that we literally they're telling you to eat 11 servings of ultra processed food in a day. Right?
Oh yeah, 88.
This has been a long time. This is the American Diabetes Association. This is the USDA, right? So. Ultra processed foods, 11 servings of it. They're sure about it. Absolutely sure about it. They demonize meat, demonize eggs, demonize butter, right? Demonize animal fats. Which, by the way, the sugar industry paid Harvard to basically demonize fat and say that sugar was healthy. No shit. Harvard shouldn't even be a university right now. Like, you can look it up. It's funny. I wrote an article on it recently. Like it's on X. But if you go beyond that, there is the fact that they know, like all of us know, like it's common knowledge that the food pyramid's bullshit, right? Like almost everybody you know knows it, right? That means that a government agency is fully fucking corrupt because we still literally use the food pyramid. We just renamed it the My Plate, right?
Mm-hmm.
If one sector of the government is fully fucking corrupt, the government is fucking corrupt. like, get the fuck over it. And we subsidize the sugar industry by $5 billion a fucking year. We subsidize the corn industry to get high fructose corn syrup by another like $2 to $5 billion a fucking year, right? They want you ingesting this because the idea is they basically help big food, ultra processed food, make a bunch of money, which then fattens the population and gives all sorts of chronic illnesses. And then we spend $4.5 trillion fucking dollars a year on healthcare as a shared burden. So anybody that wants to try to tell me that I should trust my doctor or that believe in the healthcare system, you can suck on my whole penis because that shit is absolutely ridiculous to even think. To think that you should trust somebody that is clearly, and this is no offense to you, Alan, but the healthcare industry, because I was a part of it too. The healthcare industry is woefully inept. There is they are either completely negligent in their job of keeping people healthy, or the healthcare industry, or it's facilitated on purpose to keep you sick so they can make money. Both are bad. We should rip the whole fucking system down, the whole Rockefeller system where Rockefeller bought all of the fucking schools, bought all the medical institutions and stuff like that, so he could push his petroleum-based pharmaceuticals, because a lot of people don't realize that pharmaceuticals are mostly petroleum-based. It's like, why should we trust them? And why shouldn't we want an outsider to come in? That's one of the reasons why I was so happy about RFK. Everybody's like, he's not qualified. First of all, the last HHS director, I'm not talking about the fucking wacko that thought he was a woman. That was the assistant HHS director. The actual HHS director was a fucking lawyer. Oh, still, right, yeah. What a shameful fucking time for the healthcare industry. Like the person that deemed themselves the health expert for physical and mental health was a morbidly obese man that thought he was a woman. like that was 4 years, bitches. 4 fucking years, and you still want me to trust the fucking healthcare industry? Fuck off.
So Alan, let me give you some positive news. All right. So I just looked this up. All right. So data on trusting doctors varies by source and time. So a 2019 survey found that 91.9% of respondents trusted doctors. 2019. So 2019 is a very important time period. However, a 2024 study reported a significant decline, with only 40.1% of U.S. adults expressing a lot of trust in physicians and hospitals, down from 71.5% in 2020. Wow. So, I believe it. I actually do believe it. I've seen a lot of patients like actually asking better questions, and they're sort of. I mean, in some ways, in a more caring way, like they're sort of like trying to like clap back. And some of my colleagues are saying that too. But going back to the whole. To this whole trust thing, I would say most doctors are just like kind of towing the line and just going by the guidelines, because otherwise, if you go against the guidelines, you could get either sued because you're going against guidelines, because that's like the basis of how lawyers litigate by the society guidelines, or you could get like humiliated in like a public, like a Yelp sense, where it's like, oh my God, my daughter did this and then this happened to me, and it was, that sort of thing. So they're under a lot of pressure on a lot of factors, and it's made the job very, very not satisfying at all, because like you're basically a goldfish in a bowl, and everybody's just judging for every small little thing, and you're never right. So there is that component to it too. I'm trying, I'm playing a little bit of devil's advocate here, but it's true. Like it sucks to be that person that's always being pointed the finger at. And we've said this before. Like doctors, I mean, they go after our pay too. It's like, oh, they don't deserve to get paid this money, blah blah blah. And, our salaries are like the minority of healthcare costs. It's like
vast.
yeah, and it's all the administrative costs and the other excess costs that we don't even think about. So, yeah, I mean, there's some positives coming in the pipeline, I guess, with the folks that are starting to now ask the questions, but it's going to take a while for everybody else to kind of see that and adjust to it.
Well, a lot of people don't understand 50% of all medical costs are administrative, which is ridiculous to begin with.
We could cut that down.
Yeah, but also I understand where you're coming from with the doctors, because honestly, you're $500,000 in fucking debt when you get out of med school. A lot of these people.
Oh yeah.
So they're in huge debt, and then all of a sudden the education that cost them $500,000 fucking dollars, they can't use because they lose their license. Because they were just stripping people of licenses that were saying you didn't need to wear a mask, which is also another reason. Like, if you after 2020, if you trust the healthcare industry, I don't know how to explain to you how stupid that is, because I actually speak in crayon. It's wild.
Real quickly, it's crazy how people. I'm sure they say this to you. They say it to me all the time on my posts. They'll say, "Hey, you're not a doctor. Where'd you get your degree? You're not educated." And so it's just funny that you bring those stats up. How the trust is continuously going down. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out.
I got that so much in 2020. Doctor, you're not a doctor yet. Well, but I'm still right.
Yeah.
I kept the weird part about that was, like, when I was saying COVID wasn't that deadly, people are like, you're not a doctor. I'm like, hey, this is fucking 6th grade math, people. We're taking the deaths divided by the known cases is producing a huge fucking scary ass number. If you put in on the denominator, again, 6th grade fucking math, if you make the denominator 50 to 60 times bigger than it is, which is actually the assumed asymptomatic rate of COVID-19 at the time, it makes it much less fucking deadly. Like much less deadly. It's just math. It's like the CDC director in, like, I think it was May or June of 2020 came out and said that there's at least 10 to 20 more times cases than what we thought, right? It should have ended everything, because that meant that the infection fatality rate, which was at the time they like put it at like 2, was either 0.2 or 0.1, which it actually ended up being 0.05. It's just math, and nobody wanted to fucking do the math. Everybody wanted. It's like, it was the weirdest thing. People wanted to be fucking terrified, but it was just simple math, and people are like, but you're not a doctor. It's math, motherfuckers. It's just math. Holy fuck, so crazy. So crazy.
And on my channel, by the way, I've actually been on a kick of talking to folks like yourself, Alan, and you, Chris, who are not doctors and who have a lot of very, very smart things to say, and they're very well versed in the healthcare industry. They've done a lot of their own research and have been seeing results from the fruits of their labor. I just recently did a podcast with Alex Stancio, and he's one of the folks that really, like, has done plenty of does research every single day, which I would say most doctors probably would look into other look into medical data, look into research like maybe like once a month. I would say, because we're already busy enough doing doing administrative work, and we're quite exhausted with patient care. I would say that, like, the last thing I want to do is look at a freaking medical journal. I have to kind of like get myself to do it.
AI, that shit.
No, yeah, I know. I mean, AI has been. We can talk about AI in a whole nother episode. AI has been a game changer, but for sure. But me, like, when I go home from work, I'm like, that's the last thing I want to think about. Just like, I want to do something else. Like, it's tough, like, to have to deal with that for 8 to 10 hours a day. You just, like, you don't want to think about it ever, like, again the rest of your day, and then have to go back and continue to really do that, like it's tough. I mean, I'm not giving it as an excuse. I'm just saying that it's.
Oh no, I hear you.
When you're in the trenches, you want to be out of them as much soon as you possibly can.
Well, then it could also be by design. Like I don't.
Yeah.
Here's how you know it's fucked. Like, first of all, there are plenty of good doctors. I think any doctor that tries to understand nutrition and health in that fashion, I think, is a good doctor, because now you have the nutrition aspect and you have the medical aspect of it. So I think that's where to go. Sean Baker, I'm sure you've heard of him, Dr. Sean Baker. Which Alan, I thought maybe you would want to work for him. He has his own medical group, you know.
We've talked before. We kind of lost touch, which I should get in touch with him again. But anyway, yeah, go ahead.
But I respect him. There's plenty of doctors I still respect, but to just blanket trust a whole fucking industry is wild. I mean, it's just, we don't do that for anybody. We blanket trust cops? Fuck no. As a newsflash, the healthcare industry kills way more people than cops. The healthcare industry is one of the top 3 leading causes of death. Fucking 371,000 people a fucking year die from medical error, estimated, you know? I mean, technically...
What?
371,000. It's been like that for a long motherfucking time. So 1.13% of all hospital visits end in a medical error death. Like 1.13% end up in a medical error death, hospital stays. And then there's also the fact that if you take 371,000 and divide it by 1 billion, the estimated amount of medical interactions that happen in a year in America, that gives you an infection fatality rate of 0.037. That's actually higher than the infection fatality rate for COVID for healthy people. Because for healthy people, it's like 0.003. Yeah. So it's 10 times more deadly.
That's crazy.
To just visit your doctor's office than to get fucking COVID. You know what I'm saying? And these are numbers. Again, I'm not a doctor. These are actual statistics in actual fucking studies, and all I'm doing is applying the math. It's, I don't need to be a doctor to figure this out. Maybe doctors should figure this shit the fuck out. But yeah, the healthcare industry has its own infection fatality rate, or its own incident fatality rate, basically. You know, and it's a huge cause of death. So I mean, that alone makes it so maybe we should actually do the thing that's actually built into the healthcare industry, in that they should be able to provide informed consent, which again, it just doesn't happen at all. They've literally thrown it out the window that it doesn't happen, you know.
And here's another thing that we sort of lost in the art of medicine right now, is because we have to basically churn patients through in a certain turnaround time, like they're a fucking assembly line in a factory. We lost the ability to actually connect with patients. And another good quote that I read from another book, seek first to understand, then to be understood. We don't have time to seek first to understand the patients, of what they're going through, what they're feeling, and actually get to the root of cause of the problems that they're dealing with. Because we're going through these interactions in 15 minutes. How long can we talk about your health in 15 minutes? Especially when it's the first visit that I've ever seen you. You have to, with people, you need to have more time spent initially. That's kind of like your investment into people. And sometimes it takes time to understand what they're going through, and if there are other stressors involved, or if there's something else that could be causing them to overeat, or whatever, like they had a death in the family, or they lost their job, or there's or something. There could be something else that could actually be the precursor to all these things. So we've lost that art for sure in medicine, and it's again not helping the fact that the trust in the healthcare system has gone lower, because I think a lot of people are being treated as, or they feel like they're being treated like machines in a factory, and you're just pushing through, and okay, you're only mildly defective. Okay, you can be put out on the market. That's fine. That right. Sort of thing. We're treated as objects rather than actual people.
I can understand that too. You know.
Yeah.
Damn. It's just, I mean, the world's fucking crazy right now.
Yeah.
With all this shit, it really is. When you think about it, I was just sitting here thinking, I would have never ever, 20 years ago, I would never questioned my doctor about any fucking thing, like ever.
Wow.
Ever. I just wouldn't have 20 years ago. I was in the healthcare industry 20 years ago. You know what I mean? Like we're not 20 years ago. Shit, I'm aging myself. Like 15 years ago, and even then, I was like, But being in the industry, I think that like being in the healthcare industry and around all of it all the time, it either like completely jades you or you just buy in. Like I always tell this story. The reason why I left healthcare, I had a huge region, basically the eastern United States, where the company I worked for were hired to run the nutrition departments, including dietitians, tube feedings, patient care, cafeteria, everything. Like run the dietary departments for it. I hired medical directors, dietitians, diet techs, everybody, the food service directors, everything like that. And I went to one of the facilities that I was normally at. I made it for their morning meeting, right? And at the morning meeting, they talked about census every day. And I'm sure, Alan, you've been to these morning meetings because census is a very thing. And census is the population of the building, right? Mm-hmm. And it basically determines, especially if it's insurance, Medicare, or Medicaid, it determines how much money you're making a day, right? So I'm at this facility, and it's at the time it was called a skilled nursing facility with assisted living. A lot of people call it continued care retirement communities, stuff like that, right? But it's basically there's like kind of a hospital wing, an assisted living, an independent living, and we had an Alzheimer's ward. It was a huge complex, right? And I walk in, and it was the facility that I started with. Before I became an executive, I started as their food service director, right? And I'm sitting in their morning meeting, and the guy that used to be my boss is the administrator, and he's there, and we're listening to the morning meeting, and the first thing they always do is ins and outs. So the salespeople talk about ins and outs, which is coming in and out, right? And one of the outs that day was this lady that had lived at the facility for like 15 years, and she died, right? 15 fucking years. Like, we had all met this woman's family. We had all met this woman's grandchildren, great-grandbabies. Like they had celebrated holidays at the facility with her, everything like that, right? The very first thing that comes out of this motherfucker's mouth was before or after midnight, right? And basically, he's looking to see if he can charge an extra day, right? Not have we notified the fucking family, not like what happened, nothing. He didn't even ask what the fuck happened. He didn't even ask what the fuck happened. For all he knew, it could have been a medical error, or she could have slipped and fall, or something like that. But he didn't even ask. He's like, "But was it before or after midnight?" It was literally the first fucking thing he said, right? I'm like, "Fucking holy shit, dude! Like, that's disgusting." You know, like I was like, this dude I used to look up to. I'm like, "What the fuck happened?" And I pull him in his office. I'm like, "Hey, man, like, I just gotta let you know that was super insensitive, and maybe you've been doing this too long." He's like, "You don't understand. I'm under tremendous pressure to keep people in this building. If I don't keep my census above 90, I'm going to get fired. I can't get fired. They've already warned me, blah, blah, blah." So I call my boss, and I'm like, "Hey, maybe we are approaching the wrong fucking way for this shit. Like, maybe we shouldn't be looking at, like, the pressure to keep a building full, because if you are only focused on keeping a building full, you're not focused on trying to help people be healthy, period, you know?" My boss tells me directly he's on an action plan that I put him on because his sales fucking suck, and you leave him alone. And
wow.
I came home, I talked to my wife. We had already started the fitness business every damn day. My wife is a very accomplished yoga instructor, stuff like that. And I looked at her, I was like, "I cannot fucking do this another day. I cannot do this anymore." So I put my notice in the next day, 30-day notice. You know, like fucking, because I was just like, I'm not gonna end up like that. It's totally fucking jaded. It's all money, and that turned me against the healthcare industry more than anything else. That little bit right there.
They made more money with more sickness. Yeah.
Well, there's no fiduciary advantage for anybody in the healthcare industry to cure you. None.
Right.
Like absolutely zero. And I just fucking. You can visibly see it. Another example. I used to run a building up in New York, and it was again CCRC, enormous fucking building, and we also made the food for the county jail from that facility, and then we shipped it over because the jail was like 2 fucking doors down, which is very weird to have your fucking hospital next to your fucking jail. But the the amount per patient we could spend on food, 3 meals a day plus snacks, was something like $5, like $5.25 per day, right? And that's very fucking common, by the way. At least back, I mean, that was years ago too. So I mean, I've been at it for a while, but that was very fucking common. It would probably be like something like $7 right now, still, right? 3 meals a day plus snacks of nutrition food, right? And we spent, so it was $5.25. We spent $8.22 on the inmates from the jail. Like, the fuck are you talking about, motherfuckers? Like, there's no fiduciary advantage for them to get people healthy. There's never going to be a drug that cures shit. No drugs cure shit. Like, I mean, they treat shit. They don't cure it. You know, until we do that, it doesn't matter what RFK does. Until we realize that, like, we need to approach this from a different aspect. We need a preventative model. It's not going to change shit. You know, I hope it does, but we have to become healthy as people, so we don't need to depend upon the fucking government to make us healthy.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Well, guys, I've been at this for a very long time today. Sorry about long-winded, the ADHD and the fucking whatever and stuff. I will start. Chris, send me your phone number in our chat, and I'll start us a group chat on the phone, and we can exchange some stuff back. We can regroup it in like a week or two and fucking have another fucking talk about all sorts of shit. Like, I found this wildly interesting, and the next time I won't talk as much. I promise.
You're good. No, I learned a lot, man, and that's a hell of a story too. When you left the health executive position, that's the hell of a story. I never knew that.
Yeah, but, I mean, and it's called a rug rate, and the person was on Medicaid too, or excuse me, Medicare too. And at the time, the Medicare rate was like $580 a day, like, you know, like, so it was huge, which is also very weird because the Medicare rate used to be enormous. Like, the Medicare rug rate was like $550, $580 depending on the state you're in, and Medicaid was like $102. It's like that's way fucking unbalanced. So what they would do, and this is another thing, and by the way, for those of you out there that I might even do a whole thing about this, the long care healthcare industry is a fucking horrible ass motherfucking scam. What they'll do is, like, because the way Medicare works is you have 100 days on Medicare. If you have, like, say you have a hospital stay and then you have to go stay in a facility, they'll give you 100 days, right, of Medicare payment, or at least they used to. So that could be, by the way, a lot of money, because again, $550 is the fucking daily rate, and we got 100 fucking days, right? So it's $500,000, right? And then after that 100 days, if they still need to be in the facility, magically, somehow, they always end up needing a 3-day hospital visit, like somehow. Like, they'll like, oh, they got a cold, we got to send them to the hospital. Because if they send them to the hospital and they're gone out of the facility for 3 fucking days, as long as they get past their TB test when they come back, they're back on Medicare at the fucking $400 higher rug rate.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of other issues with those facilities. So, like, basically the bottom line is try to keep your loved ones at home as much as you possibly can, and
hire people like Chris and Alan, because and I don't mean me. You can hire me too, but this is no shit. There's a huge difference. Here's the difference: 80-year-olds that golf every day, everything like that, they take care of themselves and they don't eat like shit. There's a difference between an 80-year-old that has a full life and is still cognitively aware and all of that, is that they've taken care of themselves. Most 80-year-olds need to have their ass wiped for them, you know, like, and that's fucking sad. It really is. So, guys, where can they find you? Chris, go first.
See Marty Fit, the same spelling right there. X, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Check me out.
Hell yeah. Alan.
All right, I'm at YouTube, as you can see on there, and I'll drop in the chats real quick. I'm actively on X, and I'm reading a bunch of books. So, if you want more quotes from what I'm reading, I shoot them over there. So yeah, check those out, and looking forward to seeing you guys there.
And again, thank you for joining A2C, our boy band. And we'll all talk later, gentlemen. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate you guys. We'll talk soon.
Of course, man. Thanks for having us.
Take care.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
The Holy Trinity Bundle isn't just about weight loss. It's about empowering you to find your healthiest, happiest self. Let's talk about what's in the bundle and how it caters specifically to our needs. First, we got Ember, which is not just any fat burner. It's also going to boost your mood, your energy levels, while also suppressing your appetite. And if you're worried about it being too strong, you can split the tablet in half to tailor its impact. Next, we have Alchemy NCT, which turns the carbs that you eat into energy and not fat. Yes, energy, not fat. This is our way of making sure that the meals that you eat contribute positively to your weight loss journey. And girls, we all know that we want that. And finally, no morbidity. This one's my favorite because it works while you sleep. It burns fat and controls those nighttime cravings without any stimulants, so you wake up feeling refreshed. Try it out and feel the genuine difference. Here's to new beginnings and real results.